Welcome to the Talegate podcast with your host, Al Blanton. At Talegate, we celebrate the rich history of sports in the state of Alabama. So come with us as we relive great moments, great games, great players and coaches, and in the process, preserve memories for a lifetime. You know, the last time I talked to you, y'all were heading down to Auburn to play in a hostile environment, and I see you guys got the win.
Yeah, big time rival game. It usually comes down to us or Auburn 90% of the time. So we had beaten them previously here at our place. So I knew it was going to be a dog fight down there. But like you said, we got them.
You know, I think back, I mean, man, you know, we've known each other for a long time. I mean, it's, you know, I think back to 2006. First time I ever came to Sachs High School to recruit a couple of your players, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But man, you've had a journey since then. I mean, you've been to Hoover, Athens, you know, and now Central-Phenix City. What's different about this job? What's unique about this job as opposed to the other ones you've had?
The difference is they have a culture of winning down here, just not winning the big game. And so that's the challenge that I took over to win a championship. And that was enticing enough for me to come down.
Yeah, they've made it right there on the cusp, but, you know, getting over the hump, they just hadn't been able to do that yet.
Right. And we've done that the last 2 years ourselves. 2 years ago, we lost to Hoover in the championship game. And we also lost to them in the semifinals last year. So we're knocking on the door. So we expect to get it done this year.
Y'all are sitting at, I think, 24-4. I mean, you won your last 8 games. I think you guys have won 8 straight. What's going to be the biggest challenge for y'all moving forward?
It's just to stay connected. You know, basketball is such a long season. And, you know, when you're dealing with 16, 17-year-old kids, man, you know, you really have to stay connected, stay locked in, just keep everything simple and just try to be consistent as much as you can. So not much coaching left. I mean, we are who we are at this point.
You know, I want to back way up, and you know, I'm a history guy, a biography guy, and so I want to back way up and go back to your playing days. And you played for Coach Wilbert Hamilton at Jeff Davis, and then you ended up playing for Coach Jones at Jacksonville State. What did you learn from those two guys, not only about basketball but about life?
Well, I played a year at Jeff Davis under Coach Hamilton. He pretty much instilled the mental toughness, you know, and honestly, that was my first year ever playing organized basketball. So
you only played 1 year in high school, right?
Only 1 year in high school. And so I learned the organization part. I learned the organization part. And for the most part, in high school and collegiately now, I learned how to be a basketball player and learn how to eat, sleep, drink basketball under Coach Jones and loved every second of it.
And you talk about a man's man. I mean, Coach Jones, he cuts a mighty presence. Anybody that's he's kind of like Coach Clem was at Walker College. I mean, Coach Jones is, when he walks in, you kind of stand up and take notice.
Absolutely. Coach, I knew from the first day of practice, when he spoke, everybody shushed. I mean, it wasn't a sound. And I felt right at home because my dad was the exact same way. You know, whenever he spoke, hey, everybody stopped what they're doing and we listened. So I felt right at home.
I want to see if I can get this timeline right. Now you played at Jack State, and then you injured your wrist, and you kind of got right there on the cusp, and then you ended up coming back to Jack State to get your master's, and served as a graduate assistant for a little while, and then you went and played professionally in Europe. Is that right?
That's right. Well, Yeah, I finished in '92. Drafted by the New Haven Skyhawks in the USBL, kind of the version of the NBA Summer League back in our day. And I was drafted by the Quad City Thunder. But like I said, in camp, I broke my wrist. So Coach Jones welcomed me back with open arms and created a position for me as graduate assistant coach. And I had to further my education while I was there. The next year, the exact same thing happened. I was in camp and actually had an opportunity to go to a couple of NBA free agent camps and in a summer pro am league. A nasty fall. I broke my wrist again. So, coach, it's kind of, it's not hard when the coach tell you, "Hey, go get it. If it
Mm.
don't work out, come back home." So, I was in a win-win situation, and that's what happened. I came back as my second year coaching and learning the game. Um, through and through. And then the last year, I was only a couple classes away from getting my master's. And after having a real good conversation with Coach, he had been doing that a long time, and not many players came back to finish. He made sure he let me know that, hey, I might as well get it done.
Mm.
I don't have to come out of my pocket to do it, and I can still gain the valuable experience and get the education at the same time. So I opted not to play my third year and stayed there and got my master's. And after I received my master's, I'm thinking a few weeks later, um, I took my first job in Europe, Stockholm, Sweden, actually.
Mm. Now you played in Sweden, Belgium, France, and Poland.
Played in Sweden, Belgium, France, Poland. I played some summer stints over in Dominican Republic. Um, I did, and you know, the first 4 years was smooth. As far as the money, good, really good money, timely payments, and then the last year was not good.
Mhm.
Had to play with a team that folded, went to the next team, and they was late with the money. And finally, it's like, you know what? With my experience and education, I decided, hey man, I wanted to start a family. So I was like, hey man, it's time to hang them up.
Yeah. School me a little bit on like European and overseas basketball because I don't understand this because you notice that like if somebody's played for many, many years overseas, they
Mhm.
normally play for like 17 teams. Like why is it that like
Right.
they don't play for, the same team for 20 years? It's like they go to Israel and they go to and why is that dynamic that way? I just don't understand, what that's like.
Well, it's much different now, but back in my day, we're talking about '96, my first year. It was only two Americans allowed per team, and actually two foreigners, Russian, and I think Yugoslavian was counted as a foreign player. It was only two of us allowed per team, so it's basically a 1 year contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you want to you you're not necessarily in a good position to sign a multi-year contract because you may be cheating yourself out a lot of money. So that's the way that works.
So it's basically, just a bunch of 1 year contracts.
1 year contracts, unless you in with the big bucks like they're making now, like you're making a couple million, few $1 million a year, then yeah, you can sign a multi-year deal. But
Yeah.
when someone like me that I got started 3 years late and I went in at a league that was a little bit lower than my ability because I've been out for 3 years. So I naturally didn't want to sign another contract. So I doubled my money after 1 year, had a really good year and just kept going upward. So um, the reason you don't sign a contract is because you want to outplay your current contract. So
Mhm. What was
yeah.
your favorite place that you played?
Stockholm, Sweden, man, love it, man. I absolutely love it. Can't wait to go back and visit. Got a lot of friends over there, and it's so Americanized and
Have you been
it
back since you
was.
left?
I haven't.
Yeah.
I have friends that come over and visit me, but I'm telling you that is on the radar real
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah. Um, I want to, and the other question I've got about that is, I mean, do the fans care? I mean, like, is it a big deal over there? Are the gyms
Absolutely,
packed?
man. It's basically like the NBA at a much smaller level. It's the gyms are not obviously it's not like college. It's more like a most of the places more like a glorified high school gymnasium
More like a Southern
or
Union type,
yeah, like a
Yeah,
Southern Union, like a Division II type
yeah,
arena.
yeah,
But I'm telling you, they're passionate about their basketball, their team, and it was exciting.
yeah. Now you come back to Saks, and then
Uh,
you have success there. You end up going to
yeah,
back Final Fours. What was
yeah.
the key to building that program? Saks and
Well,
Anniston, right?
I think yes, Saks, just Saks. It's in Anderson, yes. I think just pretty much just life lessons, man. I think everything is relational. Just building a relationship with the guys and building the trust and them understanding that I had their best interests at hand, and of course, you want to focus on their skill set and just teaching them. Um, well, most people say the small things, but yeah, my culture is like there's no such thing as small things when they're the difference in winning and losing. So once we got that cleared, and man, it was love those guys. I mean, that's where I started from. Still speak with those guys to this day,
Hmm.
um, and I'm proud of them, man. That was a really good start for me.
Well, I gotta ask about Nathan West and Brandon Bell, of course. I mean, you coached them at
Two
Sac.
of my favorites, man.
And
Two of my favorite guys.
yeah,
Nathan is,
lunch pail guys that just show
yeah,
up, didn't
yeah,
complain.
yeah.
What do you remember most about those guys?
Well, Nathan is, I remember when I first took the job, he was like in the eighth grade, and I could just see the potential, and he was a gym rat, and I want to get my hands on him as soon as possible. And it's kind of funny. I know his parents as well, and I used to have to call his mom and say, "Hey, Nathan is going to be playing at this time today because one day on the ninth grade team, the next day on JV team, next day on the varsity team." Because I couldn't wait to get my hands on him, um, and he just grew into the program, and he grew up to be the player that I thought he could be, and we came up just a few points short of winning a state championship. And he's doing an outstanding job coaching himself at this point. So
Yeah,
proud of
Darlington.
him
Yep.
at Darlington and Rome, Georgia. So Brandon Bell transferred in, and man, he was just ideal. I mean, he was just, he wasn't the biggest guy, but he's one of the most athletic guys I ever played with, and his personality and his character it was just smooth. Um, it was a smooth transition, and he made us go, and he got us all the way there. And I think we know we learned a lot. We just wasn't quite ready to win it, but we got ourselves there and gave ourselves a great opportunity.
Yeah, both of those guys are just a joy to coach. Both of them.
Absolutely,
Yeah. So you
absolutely.
finally get a state championship in 2015 at Hoover.
Mhm.
What do you remember most about that team?
Oh man, uh, Dylan Smith. I felt like we was always one player away. Dylan Smith was the difference. He was the transfer that we got in from Mobile, and I kind of remember the story. I talked to his dad. They came down to our tournament to the Big Orange Classic one year, and he saw us play. He liked what we do. He loved the community, and he flat out told me, I'm gonna bring my son here and play for you at Hoover." And so, and I mean, as soon as their season ended, it wasn't a week later, he enrolled, and the rest is history. I mean, he was the deciding factor for us. I thought we was good enough to get there, but with him, we was good enough to win it, which we did.
Hmm. I want to talk a little bit about your relationship with Scotty, Scott Ware,
Mhm.
who's the
Yeah,
current head coach at Hoover. And, he was
yeah,
your assistant while you were there. And now you
yeah,
guys are kind of competing for state titles. They got
yeah,
you in 2023. And what's
yeah.
that relationship like? And what's it like competing against your old team for state titles?
Well, I actually hate it, to be honest with you. Because I was at Hoover for 14 years, man. we got that thing started and got it up and rolling, and you know, the community was great. Love the kids, love the parents, you know. So you know, I really hate to play them, but you know, we're on a collision course. So uh that's the only time I'm not pulling for him, put it like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's, you know, he do a lot of things that we used to do. We kind of got a lot of the same pet peeves. That's why we clicked so much as a coaching staff when I was there. So, you know, so I know him, he know me, and you know, just may the best team win.
Hmm. You know, I want to talk a little bit about coaching philosophy for just a second. And you said that there's no
Mhm.
getting up for a game, that you need to already be up. This was back when I interviewed you
Right,
10 years ago. You still believe in that philosophy?
right. Absolutely, man. I mean, it's the the time when you're needed the most is when you're not thinking it. You know, I mean, it's like there's a difference. I try to tell my kids there's a difference being ready and staying ready. You know, you don't want to your number called and you have to get ready. You should always be ready to go, you know, regardless of what happens, you know, regardless of what situation you may be put in, even if it's a different situation that you're not accustomed to, you just always got to be ready. And and this group that I have now have done an outstanding job of doing that.
I think that's one of the biggest challenges for coaches because like as a coach, if you're a good coach, like we got to take every game seriously and you got to get up for it. You got to be up for every
Yeah,
game, and no matter whether it's
yeah.
the last team in the region or it's your arch rival on their home floor, you got to bring it every night. And if you don't, you're going to get beat.
Yes, we, you know, the good part about it is you know, it's we created this culture to where everybody want to beat us. You know, the more games you win, the bigger the bullseye. You know, everybody wants to beat you. You know, so they have to have that mentality. So at the first of the year, we have what we always say: each game, the mentality is fearless. I mean, win or go home. That's the mindset every game.
Hmm.
That hey, win or go home.
Hmm.
So, and that's our mindset. Before we take the floor, hey, you know, you can't take any plays off. This could possibly be your last game. And when it comes to the point to where it will be an opportunity for that to be our last game, it's just business as usual for
Hmm.
us.
Yeah. You know, what are some other highlights of your coaching and playing career? I mean, you've been in basketball a long time now. And I mean, if you're 80 years old talking to your
Uh,
grandchildren or whatever, and what are some stories that you're going to tell them? What's some things that have been important to you or like a cool thing that you've been able to do both in your playing and coaching career?
Wow. I mean, it's kind of hard to harp on it now since I'm still in it, but the first and foremost, the foundation of any success that I've had, that I've shared with anybody, you know, any good that I rubbed off on somebody else, anything, it doesn't matter on the court, off the court. Um, the foundation of all of that is our Lord and Savior.
Hmm.
I mean, it's, you know, just the grace and the favor, tremendous favor that he's shown me all of my life, and basically that's it. I'm just trying to give back as much as I can, but at the end of the day, you have to keep the main thing, and that
Hmm.
is the foundation. I mean, you can't start building without having a solid foundation, and a relationship with Christ, it starts there.
Hmm. Yeah, it's been amazing, you know, and sometimes I struggle. I don't know if you probably don't struggle as much as I do, but I mean, like, if I'm trying to, be a man of faith and you can certainly do that by being a magazine publisher or a basketball coach. You don't have to go out and be a preacher. You don't go out necessarily go out and be a missionary. He calls people to all different types of professions, and sometimes I struggle with that a little bit, and but I know that he's got me exactly where he wants me to be right now.
It's a constant struggle, Al. I mean, it's constant. And I think for athletes, former athletes, I think it takes on another level because we're so competitive and we hate to screw up. And when we screw up every day, many times a day, that takes a toll on you until you understand it's like, man, we under grace. And that's that's the answer right there. I mean, we don't have the power to not screw up.
Yeah.
So Christ died in vain. If we could have done it all on our own, he wouldn't be here. So I think as competitors, that's hard to grasp sometimes, because like you said, when you put the work in, you want to see results.
Yeah.
And you can put the work in all you want in this world, it's not going to be enough.
And that's right. Sports is a lot about will.
Yes.
And, a lot of times in my life, I've learned that, my will can only go so far. And there are some things that I just cannot do. Like I don't have strength to do it, and I've got to rely on him. I'm learning that lesson right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his strength.
It's ongoing. It's ongoing. And that's the thing about it until you understand. And like I said, I still don't fully understand, but I don't think we'll fully grasp it.
Yeah.
But thank God we're on the grace and we just have to keep pushing.
That's right. All right. So last question. How long do you do it, Coach? Are you going to be one of those that, just continues to
Never.
until you're 85 years old, or
Never. No,
we're going to walk away from it and have a retirement? How much longer do you think?
Well, I tell you what, I am eligible to retire this year. And there's a possibility that I will retire or look for something prior to retirement. And if something in another state becomes available, and then I have the option of taking it or leaving it, and that's where I am right now. So we'll see what happens. My plan didn't have me in Phenix City, Alabama, so it's kind of let's see what the Lord plan is and kind of go there.
Yeah, sounds great. Well, man, I'll definitely be watching and keeping up with your team for the rest of the year. I wish you the best success, and it's always good to talk to you, and I hope to see you again soon.
I appreciate your time, man.
Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
And that's a wrap. Stay tuned for the next episode of the Talegate Podcast. And in the meantime, connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We'll see you next time.